What's up, boys and girls? Welcome to another chapter of Culturally Irrelevant, the podcast where we discuss a selection of today's most culturally significant topics. We'll stay grounded in a biblical worldview. We'll have a lot of fun along the way, and we're so excited to have you join us. If you want to support us, you can check us out across all social media platforms. You'll find our usernames in the podcast description, above, below, or to one of the sides. My name is Miguel Gonzalez. I am joined by my best friends and fast becoming yours, William Russell and David Wright. Our main man, Brandon, is out sick today, and I'm glad to have you boys here. I'm glad that you are escaping this illness that seems to be sweeping over the country.
Brandon told me he stubbed his toe. I don't think that's actually being sick. He just literally has a boo-boo, but all right, whatever.
We should decide now. Are we going to go through this whole episode roasting him, or do we just get it out of the way now?
I missed an episode. I was dying of pneumonia for the episode I missed, and the doctor was like, I don't think he's going to make it. I heard him say that. But Brandon, on the other hand, got a paper cut, so he'll be all right.
He'll be all right. Will, how are you feeling up in Washington? Have you guys escaped the diseases, or?
No, I mean, we are getting hit hard right now. You can kind of hear it in my voice as well, but that's okay. I'm a trooper. I have more heart and spirit and gumption than our co-host, Brandon West. And not only do I feel under the weather as does the rest of my family, but there are 6 inches of snow on the ground, and yet here I am, still with you guys.
That's
recording
marvelous.
Today. And I know.
All right, boys, let's pick up on an easy spot. We are on Super Bowl Tuesday, 2 days removed from the country's most nationally recognized religious holiday.
Wait, Super Bowl Tuesday? What?
The Tuesday after Super Bowl. I don't know. I like to count the days after instead of the days before.
Okay.
I came away from the Super Bowl unimpressed.
Who played again?
Yeah. That's why I count the days after. The days before, I'm not even paying attention to it. Chiefs and Eagles went down pretty lamely, and I will give credit to our pastor, Rob Pacienza, who wore a green tie for both of his services on Sunday, and so maybe that kind of gave the Eagles a little bit of divine intervention. What did you guys think about that halftime show? Give me your thoughts.
First of all, Rob Pacienza, I interviewed a guy the other day, and I was like, tell me about Coral Ridge. And he goes, Pastor Pacienza. And I had to correct him. And then he goes, I go, Pacienza. And then he says like it wrong again. And I go, let's just call him Pastor Rob. And then we got the clip.
Pastor Pacienza.
Pastor. Okay. I don't know. It was boring.
A communion.
Don't come in so hot to your mic next time and it'll be funnier.
It sucked. Boring. I prefer Creed. If you go back on YouTube and type in Creed Super Bowl halftime performance, that's the most American thing on planet Earth.
When did Creed perform the halftime? Because I went back and looked like the last 20 years just for a fun exercise the other day. I don't remember seeing Creed on there.
No, they did it.
No,
I watched the video. Dude, come on. I don't know. It was boring. I was bored.
I saw a tweet from Kevin J. Farley on X. No diversity in the halftime show. DEI only goes in one direction.
True that.
No, but it like when The Weeknd performed, he had a pretty much mostly black crew and band. It was amazing. He's an artist. He sings and he's an entertainer. This was just like
a statement.
This is just like, here's Serena Williams. Okay, like it was boring. I was bored the entire time.
The greatest Super Bowl halftime show was, without a doubt, Prince in Miami Gardens performing Purple Rain.
Oh, yeah.
In the rain. That was the greatest. And that's what, if we're going to get back into some funky, like Creed, obviously very naturally awesome. Not necessarily a fan of Creed in any other venue other than the Super Bowl halftime show.
Or a dive bar.
That's right. I thought that these were, there was like, sing a song, okay? Don't just sit there and talk really fast at us for 20 minutes in a Super Bowl commercial and like make some sort of, or Super Bowl halftime show and make some sort of like political statement through it all. Like that was probably the most tasteless thing of it all, is like, we're finally over one of the most divisive elections that we've had in many, many, recent memory. And the first thing that he does is get up and it's just like starts being incredibly divisive and talks about splitting America in half, or raps about like the divide in America. I'm like, okay, I get it that we're trying to address some sort of like cultural thing right now, but like it's the freaking halftime show. Like most of the people there don't care. Let's just talk about football. Let's just talk about your hits. Like you go, I'm fine with the beef that you have with Drake. Like go hype that up. Like I don't care. And honestly, like so when we were growing up, the church would oftentimes have Super Bowl, like a Super Bowl party. That's like a hosted event with all the young people that from the church and friends of the young people from church. And what we would do is turn the halftime show, when it was halftime, we would turn it off. We would not watch the halftime show and would instead do a devotional during the halftime show. So I actually thought that was a brilliant idea, and that's something that I might start doing just myself personally, whether I'm at a Super Bowl party or not. Like, I don't really care.
That's actually super creative. Like, hey, we're all having a great time here. Why don't we just stop and do something totally radical, and then we'll go back to that?
But I think the bigger picture here, the bigger point, though, is that the musicians, artists, entertain. That's what they should be doing, right? But then they get to this certain level of fame and celebrity, and then they go, my opinion matters, my stance on this, I'm going to make everything I do political, blah, blah, blah.
Your
It's like
never mattered. It never mattered.
Well, that's like the Ricky Gervais Golden Globes thing. He's like, no one cares. Come up here, collect your little award, and then
move on.
You know, get out of here.
That's actually great. You know, I think this is why people come to Culturally Irrelevant, because we start off with things that people have been hashing out all the time, and we take tangents that are just really impactful. Musicians, I know that you all listen to us. Just please come and entertain. That's all we're asking. This reminds me of a time that I took my wife to see Casting Crowns. The show was probably 2 hours long. They may be sang like 6 songs total. Sing a song, talk for 20 minutes. Sing a song, let me plug this adoption ministry. Sing a song, let me have these 3 people share testimonies. Bro, just get up there and play music. That's what we paid for. That's what we're expecting. That's what we want. That's what you created. Just do that.
Dave, and how about the irony that we're sitting here just getting yell-talked at by a musician right now like his opinion mattered?
Yeah, what are you doing, man? You know, the thing about musicians is 2 hours for a concert. It's like we all have lives, right? I know Taylor Swift's concerts are really long and stuff, and like she's a really good dancer. And you guys all think she's attractive, which is hilarious. But
we don't have to bring that back up again.
Yeah, AOC. But it's like anything longer than an hour 15. Yeah, do your encore. I'm headed back to the parking lot. I'm 33, dude. My knees hurt big time, and I've been sitting.
Yeah.
I don't know if I want to validate that old fart take, because if it's a good musician, like if I get the opportunity to see John Mayer live, I've never gone.
Dude, I've seen him 7
times. If he's going to play for
times.
4 hours, I'm there for 4 hours.
He's not. He won't ever.
No, I know. Who was it? I just saw this yesterday. What's this guy's name? John Black or Will Black? He's like a...
Whoa, careful.
I can't remember his name, but he was
incredibly
ranting against
racist.
long shows. No. He was just ranting against long shows. He says he doesn't play more than like 25-minute sets, and he never knows what the set's going to be, but it's only going to be 25 minutes. You could take it or leave it, because that's what the greats did.
Well,
I felt like that was a little soapboxy.
Well, that's why we don't remember his name, because he's
That's
not
probably
famous.
why. You're probably right. Let's talk about some serious things. We have spent the last couple weeks talking about DOGE, and I'm sure everybody's kind of been watching it, keeping track of it. It's hype. It's so fun to read how bananas the left is going. But I have an honest question, and we love to tap Will for this type of stuff. Is it true that Congress can put a halt to all of this if they want to, or is this something that's happening and the ball's rolling, you're not going to stop it until it's done?
I don't know by which mechanism they would put a stop to it. I mean, it's a good question. The money has already been appropriated for fiscal year that we're in right now, so the money is sitting in the hands of each executive agency. But there's the key word there: executive. All of these agencies fall underneath the executive branch, which Donald Trump has ultimate authority and power over, very much like George Bush was able to establish the Department of Homeland Security after 9/11. As long as Congress funded it, like that's the only thing that matters. And so they're kind of left between a rock and a hard place. Like, I suppose through reconciliation this year, through the budget process, that they could, if they wanted to, turn around and say, like, you're going to open the doors, or we're going to cut off funding altogether, or appropriate funding for projects that is in the mandatory non-discretionary fund that they have to spend and like repurpose the money. But at the end of the day, like that's the divide and for our government. Most people don't realize this, but Congress actually doesn't really have very much to do at all with your daily life. Like your daily life is governed by the executive branch, whether it be if you're, flying somewhere, that's TSA, or you're, driving on a road, that's Department of Transportation, or you're sending your kids to school, public school, Department of Education. Like all of those things that I just listed, they all fall under the executive side. That's not legislatively. Like the legislative bodies are focused on more long-term policy discussions and enshrining things into law. If you guys watch Schoolhouse Rock, you'd know how a bill becomes law, and it is a long and arduous process.
Yes.
So I don't, to answer your question, I don't see how they can necessarily stop this, unless it's through some sort of fiscal measure. But we don't. I mean,
yeah, that's what I was. That's what I was
ahead.
getting, was somebody trying to like hype up how you're wrong because Congress controls budgets and Congress controls funds and they're going to shut it all down. But I'm too much of a Neanderthal when it comes to politics. I just kind of sat there and was like, oh, okay. But
I would venture to say that if somebody in Congress was like, you stop doing this right now, Elon Musk and DOGE, or we're going to defund the entire agency, we'd be like, because you've said that, we're going to go even harder now. We don't want any money going to the Department of Education. Like, that's a great idea.
The whole thing about this is we've been complaining about the deficit and our debt and the interest on the debt for so long. And now someone finally starts to do something about that, and then they all lose their mind. And it's like, look at America like a business, and we're spending too much. And we're spending it on stupid things, and they're freaking out. Like we've seen them all have conniptions in the past about things that this administration has done in the first term, but I've never seen it like at this level of just like they're just like if you listen to Elon, like, do you think he's evil and lying? Like, to listen to what he says, it's like, yeah, you're right. We should stop spending and we should cut some things. Sounds cool.
That's the crazy part. Is it reminds me of when I was a kid and one of my parents said, I'm searching through your room. If I didn't have anything in there to worry about, I was like, all right, yeah, I'm sorry, it's a little messy. But if I was hiding stuff, then I'd freak out. I don't understand how all of these people freaking out about what's going on isn't just a very clear demonstration that shady stuff is going on. Otherwise, people wouldn't be so panicky about it. Who would not want their nation's budget to be streamlined, accurate, and fiscally responsible with their tax dollars? I mean, unless you're stealing it.
Yeah, they're idiots. I like them all like freaking out at the Department of Education. It's like they were all like getting in line to say their pre-rehearsed piece.
Jeez.
Have you seen the have you seen that video of like Pakistani school children, and they're just like taking turns saying what they're going to do for Pakistan? Like, my name is Ahmed, I want to be a pilot. And they're just they're screaming. Yes. Yeah, that's what was happening at the Department of Education. It's like, all right, you go and scream now about nonsense,
dude. It's almost like all the hype about the U.S. aid was just a low key distraction, because I feel like the DOE takeover really got into people's pants.
I told y'all that in our text chain earlier this week, it was like that was just a big ruse. The whole like, look at what we're doing, shutting down USAID. Meanwhile, the entire DOGE has already moved on to the Department of Education. Like, that's all like last week's news.
Yep.
You guys just weren't even catching up right now.
Yep. Yeah, that's been the general war cry has been, it's going too fast. Like, yeah, it's going fast because otherwise you guys are going to cover up everything you've been doing. Like, it has to go fast.
Right.
Man, I had a train of thought and I lost it on that very topic, but oh well. Shout out to Elon Musk. We hope to continue seeing DOGE taking stuff down. I do want to say we're not lacking in empathy for any pieces of funds that have ever gone to good causes. I'm not denying that USAID never did anything good. I'm not denying that our federal government doesn't do any good. I'm sure there's people on Medicaid and Social Security that deserve it. Like, I know that's fact. But at the end of the day, if we gotta, I don't know, maybe it sounds too mean to say this, but if we have to tear everything down to start over, we got to tear everything down to start over. I don't know what the other option is other than to just leave it broken and poisonous.
Well,
But anyways,
isn't that like the kind of the, this is, everything in America happens, especially on the political spectrum, everything happens as a pendulum swings, right? So we've swung so far. We were just started a swing with Obama, really with Bush, and then it swung back to the left with Obama, and then swung back further to the right with Trump, and then swung back even further to the left with Biden. And now we're swinging back to the right. And the difference, the parallels between each swing are kind of uncanny. Like, for this one, this is a swing back to the right where the left previously hated America and wanted to destroy everything that America stands for, but they weren't overtly saying that. They just didn't. They were on America's apology tour around the world, and they didn't like the institutions that currently existed. And it's the normal stuff that we see, right? Like, America's racist, bigot, homophobe, all the usual tropes that we roll out. This is now swinging back where yes, we too are destroying things. It's just going to be the federal government from the inside. So, you know what? You wanted to destroy America's culture. We're swinging back to the left or to the right where we're going to destroy something as well. This time it's going to be the institutions that propped you guys up for as long as they have.
Yeah. And I'm excited to see what it looks like on the other side of that swing, because you're right. It's going to be violent coming back through, but I'm excited to see what it can look like when we're suddenly using our funds to help our people in North Carolina, to help, homelessness, or to fix XYZ that we have going on here in the U.S. instead of, sending $600 million a year to a university in Israel to pay for all their tuition and professor salaries. Like, that's our money. Where is it going if not here to our home?
That's silly, right? It's silly.
I mean, I don't have a ton of student debt, but I got a little bit of student debt, and I was a little offended when I saw that come out of last week. And I'm reading all this money that I paid in taxes, and all my family and friends paid in taxes. And I'm not saying pay off my debt. I'm just saying, like, why do I have debt when other people have free tuition?
I don't have student debt because I actually got a government what is it called?
Pell Grant?
Yeah, I got a Pell Grant, and at Sarah Lawrence College, and I studied women's gay dance. And
ooh, nice.
I got a scholarship. That's what it's called, scholarship. So no debt here. Are you
able to like do some sort of interpretive dance for the show here of like
no.
speaking, interpretive dancing the oppression of women's rights through the modern age or something like that?
In our next episode, we will study women's rights in Scripture while David Wright interpretive dances for us. It'll be great.
Ooh,
also interesting, that reminds me, somebody was talking the other day about how now that you're dismantling all these DEI initiatives, it's going to absolutely wreck the future for a ton of people that went to school for that type of stuff and got degrees in that type of stuff. Those people are out of here. You spend a lot of money and time, but like, what are you going to do now with your DEI degree? But I don't know if that was just talk. I don't know how many DEI degrees actually exist, for the record.
It's the same amount. The DEI degrees that exist are the same amount of degrees that exist for the same that would be for, I don't know, like the loud vocal minority of homosexual population or transgender population that speaks up in the United States. Like, you would think, turning on TV and watching every commercial, you see all of the different variety of people on TV, whether it be gay, trans, whatever, how well they're represented. They make up a tiny percent of the mass population here in America. And so, like, the truth is, like, not a whole lot of people went out and got DEI degrees. Not a whole lot of people like got underwater basket weaving or online poetry degrees. Like, it's just silly. Like, and honestly, if you're that dumb to go out and get a degree that's that worthless, you deserve what's about to happen to you.
Yeah, I don't begrudge anybody who's in their 60s and has nothing to do and decides to go to school for basket weaving for something fun. But I will heavily judge you if you are 18, 19, 20, and you are wasting the prime years of your life with an education system that, for all of its faults, does offer avenues for growth. If you're wasting that on something stupid, that's on you. Speaking of something stupid, I saw Ben Shapiro the other day, and I just wanted to give an opportunity for us to speak our feelings, because things sometimes get extra in our group chat, and I wonder, like, are these views that we really hold? Do we feel like we like Ben Shapiro as a person? I came across a tweet where he's quoting somebody else's joke. He's not wasting any time. He was quoting somebody else's joke, and I get the jokes are jokes, but I feel like his character is, how can it be the most offensive on purpose all the time?
Yeah, he likes money and he's famous and popular. Look, the joke thing, mocking Christianity, come on, mate, we're not doing that. Like, as a Christian, I should be able to go to a comedy show and then have the comedian make fun of any religion, anything, and then, not take it so personally that I have to, this guy hates us. Like, there's a balance there, and he doesn't have a history of it. I think he really recognizes the Judeo-Christian influence on the West and the entire world. And I think it's silly to, you can criticize him for other things, but for jokes, I think we don't.
Yeah, I mean, I support your take on jokes. I would go to a show also and not be offended, but a blasphemous joke, I probably wouldn't share. Like, I wouldn't take a video and share it on my social media and be like, "Oh,
he's not
funny.
A Christian."
That's true. I am holding him to a different standard.
It's not blasphemous. Yeah, it's not for him. It's not. Correct. Yeah, it's a joke. I wouldn't. Well,
I know that Will really loves Ben Shapiro, so we won't talk bad about him anymore.
No, it's fine. You guys can talk about Ben. He's got some witty, like, one-liners and stuff like that, but by and large, like, his content is just kind of, I don't know, it's not like extra special.
David, you still there? Because I lost Will on my end.
Matt Walsh.
Yeah, I think the Daily Wire in general is good. They provide a general good, but again, I think you can criticize all those guys for certain opinions. But look, we agree with them on more things than others. So I mean, I don't know why we're even talking about him, because he's a Jew.
Jew. Well, in light of recent Kanye activity, we probably should go easy on the Jew jokes.
I can't do this because I keep getting text tones to my headphones. How do I turn that off? Sorry, guys.
It's hard to make technology work for us in the right times. It's probably because your phone is connected to all your devices, because Apple is so good at that.
My phone's connected to my refrigerator, which is connected to my foot bath,
which is connected to my tailbone. Speaking of singing, I have taken on this new crusade on social media. I don't know where my algorithm got me onto other church worship teams. I don't know if my algorithm thinks that I need to be validated by seeing terrible worship teams, or if it's just everybody's just eating it up. But there are these clips out here of people failing on stage. It's pretty funny. People will say bad words back and whatever. But then there's these clips where the people are committed and serious. They are sharing the work that they're doing. They're encouraging the congregation to worship the Lord. And in the middle of that, all you hear is this intense presence of autotune. Because it's one thing to say, like, I want to sharpen things, but when I can hear the digitizing of your voice in a recording, like, you were maxed on. And I'm on this campaign in social media now to leave snarky but classy comments on everybody that I see that's portraying themselves as these amazing vocalists, and yet all they're doing is pumping it out their machine. And to me, this is a serious topic that I want to ask you guys as lay people, because as a worship director, I do music all the time. I'm super comfortable with it. When I get up on stage to sing, it is just my natural element, and it's automatic for me. But I recognize that people in the seats, not only are you in the seats, and so you have to kind of be brought into that environment, but also you're not a professional musician. You're not singing these songs every week. They're not always familiar to you. As people in the seats, what effect does it have on your emotional place in worship when a musician, or a vocalist specifically, is so incredibly, wonderfully amazing? Is that something that you notice and that elevates you, or is that something that goes over your head? I want to start there. Do you notice the excellence in vocals when you are gathered at church for worship?
Yeah, I'm old school. I grew up in traditional churches singing hymns, and so there wasn't always a soloist or like a lead vocalist. It was
definitely not.
It was a lot of like piano, organ, and everyone singing hymns. So I don't love. I I like worship, and there's a lot of went to Liberty. I do.
You had to fix that.
I like
Well,
worship.
I do.
I like
No, I mean,
worship.
I went to Liberty, and we had a bunch of great worship teams, and I was actually friends with the drummer on the main team, and I don't know. I think sometimes I kind of look and I go, it's a bit much. This isn't the Super Bowl halftime show, and the drum solo, and I'm a drummer, so it's like, what are you doing? Like, why are? And then I don't know, the what's it called when you do the run? The vocalist is the run.
The vocal, but you do it like super fast, hit a bunch of notes.
It's like, it's not about you. It's about like worshiping Christ. So I'm kind of the wrong person to ask this question to. So
yeah, if you're coming from that traditional background, you're not even used to a vocal leader led worship experience, which is a very new-ish experience.
Yeah, but I went through college and attending other friends' churches and stuff. I think it's fine, but
Gotcha.
within reason.
I'm David like times 5, so you're definitely barking up the wrong tree here. Like I want a choir. You can't you shouldn't have to auto-tune an organ. Like, let's just go ahead and fire that Rafati right on up, and let's hear it. Let's
Call
get
it
to
a
it.
day.
Yeah,
I like the worship leaders, the singers who are like drill sergeants. They're like, all right, let's just sing that third verse. All right, back to that second half of the first to the third verse, and now repeat that. It's like, bro,
right.
Too many instructions.
Now, see, all the new, and I'm not saying this is specific to Coleridge because I don't think it is. Like, I've been a part of both the traditional and the contemporary services, so I've seen them both. But for a wide swath of new churches, these new contemporary churches, it's usually just like pick one or two select lines and just repeat them over and over and over again in the songs to a guy who's just like aggressively playing a guitar and like leaning into a microphone, making sweet noises into a microphone. And I'm like, please stop. Like, I'll if you don't stop it right now, I will start screaming, "Come thou fount of every blessing," right now.
A worship heckler. That is a new thing right there.
I like your style, Miguel, because it's at a PCA church, and it's not what we're describing. We're describing these like outliers at random churches. I think you're a great worship leader, but I think the stuff that Will and I are talking about.
It's okay. You can stop there. We can move on from this topic. That's what I was trying to get to.
Yeah, it's fine. But I think like the beauty of some of these hymns, and like that when I feel like that swell or that emotion, it's like Silent Night at Christmas Eve, or like other certain like on my mom's side, our family hymn is Great Is Thy Faithfulness. Stuff like that. I'm just like punches me in the face.
The hymn itself, the lyrics, the tradition, the music ensemble as a whole, that's what's giving you that emotional lift. So that's a good perspective. I like that.
But then Hillsong's like, hey everybody, I'm a billionaire. All right, I'll stop.
No, it's kind of wild how it's become exactly that. I don't know. I haven't really decided how vicious I'm going to be on these podcasts, but Brandon Lake is a great guy. Some of his songs are awesome. My kid loves his music, like great. But then I see clips from these concerts, and he is just open shirted, long flowy hair, like it's a Bon Jovi show.
Yeah, well,
everybody's singing to Jesus. It's weird. It's weird. It weirds me out.
Do you ever see that Instagram account that it was like it shows the price tag of like pastors and worship leaders, clothes, shoes, jewelry, stuff like that?
I've never seen that, but I can only imagine.
Unreal.
It's brutal.
Well, it's like, I mean, a lot of the things that the ministry I work for is doing is calling out things that are happening in the church, and like it's like, no, we stick to biblical values. We're not flashy show offs. It's just so much of it happening. Like what's the guy? The guy with the private jet, and he was questioned about why he has a private jet.
The old man.
Oh yeah.
COVID-19, I'll blow on you. What's that guy's name?
Oh, not Harland. Something Williams.
No.
Will, have you ever seen the video of that mega church pastor, and he's being questioned like, why do you own a private jet?
If Will doesn't remember, I remember.
Go, tell me his name.
Kenneth Copeland.
And he's like, well, first of all, that guy, no offense, looks evil, but he's like, I need a private jet to stand up and pray. I can't do that in commercial. I'm like, bruh, Like, that's what
bad.
we're against.
It's bad.
Yeah, I was going to say for our audio audience, you didn't even notice that Will got booted out and somehow smoothly found his way back into the podcast without anybody being the wiser.
We lost power here at the house. I don't know if somebody hit a light pole or what's going on here, but it's the snow more than likely.
It sounds like winter. It sounds like winter stinks.
No,
is what I mean.
it's awesome, bro. I just watched my dog take a again.
Don't do it. Don't do it. We got so many complaints from the first episode. I can't believe I turned this podcast out. The first thing I hear is somebody talking about dog poop.
Yeah, that's the highlight of my day is to watch my dog poop in the yard in the snow.
No, you said it was to watch it sink slowly through the snow.
Wild. It's wild because he would like poop and then fall right on through.
Yes.
Speaking of poop, how did you manage to segue into Kenneth Copeland while I was gone? I was only gone.
I was talking about there's an Instagram account that like shows mega church pastors and like worship leaders who have, and it like shows the price tag of their like shoes, clothing, their jewelry, and just like the fact that it's kind of like all these churches that are just going against like what the Bible is about and what Christianity is about, and just like, hey, I'm here and look at my cool chain, and
also
worship Jesus.
So I do have a question about this in this same vein. There was a time like. So I've kind of run into this over time. There are a variety of people in the Christian community who view wealth and prosperity and success in a variety of different ways, right? And so I guess my question is like, how much is too much? Like how much, because I've actually not been reprimanded or scolded, that's too strong of a word, but there's been, even while I was in Florida, like, well, obviously I think I'm a relatively successful guy in what I do, and I'm able to provide a good living for my family. But there was kind of like somebody pointed out the fact that I drive a Lexus, and I do not drive a Lexus. I drive a Volvo for the listening audience here.
Wow, talk about a faux pas. How do you mistake a Volvo for a Lexus? That's disgusting.
I don't know, because I did not pay that much for my Volvo.
Wait, go ahead.
But like, how much is too much? Like, how much do you start to feel like guilty that you're doing too much? I don't know. That's the question that I've like. What is that line? Where do you draw that line? Because the whole conversation was on the backs of like, you're successful, you need to do X, Y, and Z, or your kids are going to grow up like stuck-up, snooty kids who are spoiled. Like, I don't think that I'm going to raise spoiled kids. I think I'm going to raise good kids. Like, what is the line here? Like, you can't. And that was coming from someone who's a Christian. Like,
wait, but
I don't know if I can ask this question because you might not be able to answer it. But is that person that asked that question, would you say they are close to or on the same playing field?
No.
Financially?
No.
Or not at all, or you don't want to answer that?
Not at all.
Back to your you drive a Lexus even though it's a Volvo comment. At college, my brother was in law school, so him and I would hang out when I was a freshman, and he had a Hyundai Genesis coupe, which is just, it's not that expensive of a car. And so he picks me up, he drops me off at like the cafeteria, and then I'm getting out, and then these like group of young freshmen are like, "Is that a Bentley?" I'm just like,
"No,
what?
No." But to Genesis, Dave, you're a car guy. To Genesis credit, like they've done a very good job of like building a car that looks, if you like squint and turn your head to the side, and you look at the Genesis out of the side of your eye.
Pretty sick.
Yeah, it actually does kind of look like a Bentley, just a little bit.
Not a bad car.
No.
Well, to your original question, I think, first of all, nobody can tell you that line except the Holy Spirit in your heart, because nobody can put themselves in your shoes with your finances and your decision making. That's between you and the Lord. And I think that every set of family leaders, so every husband and wife, is responsible for how they're going to raise kids. And the second thing I would say is like, spoiled kids come from spoiled parents. That's at least what I have seen. I ran a karate school for a couple years, but I was an instructor for like almost 8 years. I saw all kinds of parents from ages 4 to ages 84. And like spoiled parents have spoiled kids, and parents that work hard and understand what it means to work hard have kids that work hard and understand what it means to work hard.
Yeah, they not like us.
They not like us. They not like us. Guys, last week we debuted a really cool segment, and I'd like us to wrap up by going back to this. Habits for Humanity. Will let us in on a little secret about leaving his phone in the car when he gets home from work, gives him some undivided attention for his family because he doesn't have things distracted. I have a really good habit for humanity, but I wonder if you guys have any other phone habits that you'd like to share with our audience real quick. Any other little tidbits or anything fun that you do with your phone practices that you think would be a helpful habit for humanity?
It has to be about phones?
No, it does not. I was just starting there to give us something to vamp on.
Habits
for humanity can be any type of habit for any type of human.
I think always trying to take bad experiences, personally, work experiences with friends and turn them into positive, like learning lessons, instead of coming home and being upset and stressed. I'm always like, how can I learn from this and then better myself in the future? And it works. Honestly, it's like, I feel like I've already become a better person. This isn't some new thing I'm doing. I've been doing it for a while, but I think it's good to like, that sucked. How can I never turn into that? And how can I grow myself in my life and my character and, from that experience. So yeah. I'm that's something that's been said for 10,000 years, but it's just something I like doing.
But I think something that's really prevalent in our society today is that when something bad happens, we immediately start to ask, I mean, I do this. Why did this happen to me? Why is this person like this? Or just feel this shouldn't have happened to me. This is unfair. And then you just focus on yourself instead of, like you're saying, like, man, just focus on what happened and what you can learn from it.
Yeah,
focus on yourself that way.
Kenneth Copeland would say you didn't pray hard enough.
He needs to buy that 4th private jet, baby. Come on.
I'm going to tag him in all of these.
Yeah. You didn't give enough to the church. Kenneth Copeland says that you don't deserve what you're asking for.
There's literally, is it him or is it someone else? Where it's like, you find yourself in credit card debt, give to the church. You find yourself needing a $700,000 surgery, give to me. It's like,
my goodness.
Bro, people are literally dying because of the things you're saying.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, when you talk about this stuff with my dad, sometimes he'll start crying because it's just so poisonous. That's heavy. We'll talk more about Kenneth Copeland next episode.
Yeah, I want to talk more.
We always say that. We never come back to the things that we're going to talk about next episode.
Next episode, David?
Next episode,
about what?
I want to talk about my sister's dog. And when I walk him, he takes multiple. You have to bring multiple plastic bags.
No.
He's one of those dogs.
No.
Yes, he is. Yes, he does.
Okay.
What?
I mean, you either bring multiple bags or you bring one bag and pretend every time until the last one.
You can't pretend with something that is above a foot tall.
Oh, it's a big dog?
No, all right. We'll talk about it next week.
We'll talk about it next episode. A teaser. Ladies and gentlemen, we've been culturally relevant not long enough. We're coming at you with a little short episode today. We got some people under the weather, but we've had a good time. We hope that you enjoyed it. Next episode, we'll be talking about David Wright's dog's pooping habits and a plethora
my sister's
of other
dog.
things.
It's my sister's dog.
Sorry, his sister's
We'll be
dog's
talking about
pooping
David's pooping habits and Kenneth Copeland and where the two intersect.
All right, we've been culturally relevant long enough. Let's get out of here.
Hey.
The mystic fox stands, it's gone and reappears. Well, night vision, everything you're telling me is a lie.
This has been an episode of Culturally Irrelevant, a production by us. Check it out on X, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, or any other major podcast platform by searching for The Culturally Irrelevant Podcast. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you back with the boys next week.
Like a trace of fog.